Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is April 4th, 2021. Happy Easter to everyone celebrating.
Yeah, Jewish people don't celebrate this one. What do you got going on?
Not much.
Did you enjoy your long weekend?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think every week we should have a long weekend. You know, for
Yeah,
four
right.
day 4 day market it's enough.
Now with crypto, it's 7 days, 365.
I know it's 24/7. It's crazy.
Yeah. 24/7. It's fun, kind of. I'm following a few, as I mentioned, and we'll bring them up later, but I'm following a bunch of these just because I own them.
Mhm.
And the moves have been crazy.
You can always share your own screen as well, Howard. At any
That
point.
would involve me doing work.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I, I,
Or I can show some stuff.
we're a unionized shop, and you have to do everything.
Sure.
So what do we see? What do we see?
Um, I mean, the price action has definitely improved over the past week. The S&P 500 closed at another new all-time highs. The Nasdaq 100 is back above its 50-day. Also, constructive action here, building a new base. It seems small caps are also back above their 50 and 20-day moving average. The new leaders, we talked about them last week, semiconductors. Everything started last Friday with breakouts in the semiconductor equipment space. And then last week we saw the rest of the semiconductor stocks just following strong earning reports from Micron Technology. So all of them are just breaking out or setting up
Wow.
for a potential breakout. So that's where the strength is currently.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Applied materials. We talked about that last week.
Yeah. So this, I think the next industry that's kind of setting up, and we also mentioned it last week, is Homebuilders.
Yeah.
XHB, the Homebuilders ETF, closed at new all-time highs on Friday, and then quite a few stocks in the space are looking really constructively. I mean, keep in mind that those stocks are kind of slow movers, so they're not like the perfect trading vehicle for a aggressive swing trader. But if you have a longer term view and you're more patient, there are a lot of interesting, a lot of strength, a lot of interesting setups in this space. Like most of the home builders are looking good.
Yeah. I wonder why Meritage is lagging. Southwest, I thought that would be stronger, but
I mean, they can catch up quickly.
yeah, they're all trading at like 5 to 10 times earnings.
Super low PE, yes. So if we continue to see those so-called value stocks catching up, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a much bigger move over the next year. As I said, these are slow-moving stocks. I don't expect to move at 20-30% pace a week, like we saw with some of the crypto-related stocks or solars or the electric vehicles. These are much
Yeah,
slower.
but Wall Street, has a way of spinning stories. I mean, what's interesting here, Ivan, you may be onto something, is they can, maybe spin some kind of tech story and energy. And, what Wall Street does, they'll spin this story saying, oh, all this money's being handed down and everybody's going to buy a new house. So, those PEs can.
Yeah, I mean, they can double or triple from here.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to take a look at some of those home builders. I mean, obviously rates, they've done this while rates have creeped up too, which is pretty interesting.
yes, it's pretty amazing, definitely.
Yeah.
And also energy stocks have been super strong since November, basically since the elections. And many of them have doubled and tripled since then and are basically the new momentum stocks. And if crude oil continues to rise, that's only another bullish argument for more solar and more electric vehicles, right? So at some point, they might start moving together.
Yep.
So definitely,
Anything have you concerned?
yeah. I mean, there's still there are not that many great long setups right now. Well, typically we see a lot better breadth when the market is recovering from a pullback, even though the S&P didn't really have a pullback this year or any substantial correction. The breadth is not that amazing. Typically, at the beginning of a new bull move, we see a much better breadth, a lot more stocks breaking out and setting up. And right now, the market is kind of a little bit more selective. There are just a few industries that are doing well, and the rest, especially momentum stocks, are kind of lagging. But we might see a catch up in the next week or two. But so far, that's the one big difference that I see.
Yeah.
A lot of
what I'm trying to digest is this, the moves in Viacom and Discovery, like just this, how big this Archegos virus really is, because the market's acting like it's very contained. I mean, so when when in Wall Street, when there's one, there's 1,000. So pretty amazing. I'm not surprised by that. The news as much as like, what the hell? Like when those were going up, I think we brought it up, and I was like, what? I give up. I don't understand it. And now we know that it was another scam con. And so I try, it's just amazing how sloppy the behavior is, and this money is not coming out of the market. And if we pull up TradingView again and pull up a couple of these cryptos, and we can just see the speculation. I know I brought up Solana last week, SOLANA.
Just one second.
Yeah, they've had just these crazy couple month runs. Take your time. So I think the speculation is just incredible. So here's a token. Yeah, I think we brought it up I brought it up last week. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, here it's like doubled again, and then helium was another one that I brought up last week. So again, don't chase these, but I mean, everybody's looking for the next. There it is, helium. And you can just see the volume coming into these, right? It's kind of like hard to find these, hard to find the exchanges that they trade on, but real interesting blockchain opportunities. Helium more of a product than it is a blockchain, and Solana is kind of an Ethereum for competitor if you listen to the VCs. So you still see the speculation. You can close that out and we'll go back. The other thing that was interesting to me is Facebook is now all of a sudden the FANG darling.
I mean, that's a beautiful base.
Yeah, I own it.
Google also broke out last week, definitely one of the strong FANGs this year. Yeah. So both of them are looking really well. And Apple is kind of the only one that is down about 7% year to date.
Yeah, well, that's just, they suck at the narrative. I keep talking about this, it pisses me off. I mean, Tim Cook could give a fuck. I'm not so much worried about the product. It's like, it's the most dominating of all of them. So I don't know what's going on there with Apple. But, you're seeing a lot of stuff bounce where it needed to bounce. Roku is one of my favorite companies to watch because it just was missed by everybody, including myself. And they were getting down near their 200-day moving averages. So the markets are bouncing where they had to bounce and digesting these massive runs. But the one that that was most interesting to me last week was Spotify getting into the live audio space by buying Locker Room. And I think the market was starting to punish. I mean, that was the top right there. You see that reversal at 387. That's in the Nasdaq kind of reversed. So we need Spotify to get some footing here. I think this is probably an interesting pullback to watch because it needs to hold here. And I think their move into live audio, which kind of is like, hey, Twitter and hey, Clubhouse, we're quite aware of what you're doing. and to go buy like the sports equivalent of Clubhouse was a smart move. They had to get into the live space, and they did. So this is a good opportunity for Spotify to bounce. But there's just a lot of my 8 to 80 brands are just kind of treading water. The ones that look like they're ready to break out, Mastercard and Visa.
No, they're just in a range. You know?
Yeah. So the boring 8 to 80s are just digesting these massive moves of the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Um, and the other one that's interesting in the space is Adyen, Adyey, which is payments in the payment space. Adyey.
Sorry, 1 second. What was it?
Adyen, Adyey.
Okay.
Yeah. That's another one in the payment space that's digesting big gains that I own. So I don't have any great epiphanies. The one that's interesting is eBay was breaking out. I may try this again on the marketplace side. It looked like it was breaking out reversed, and second mouse gets the cheese here. And so that's one I may relook at right here.
I mean, I haven't used eBay in so many years that I don't even know what's going on there. So I don't know if they're
That's the key. You never used it anyways, did you, Ivan?
well, back a long time ago, I think in the mid 2000s, I think
Yeah. Well, with this rebirth of collectibles and obviously posh, all these like secondhand places, eBay's still the place to go for the masses. And it's setting up better than Etsy right now.
Oh, definitely, eBay definitely looking better than the rest, definitely.
And then on the, I think what the social media companies, Twitter was kind of my fave idea for a little bit, and just as always with me, I just can't seem to.
Yeah, Facebook is looking the best right now out of all.
Yeah, Snap was pulled back, right?
Check
it had a great run. These things are just so richly valued. It's just hard for me to be excited about them. So, anyways, I think, listen, I'm trying to get used to everything being 5 or 10 times more than what it's worth. You have obviously the Archegos overhang here on the market. No one seems to care. Goldman hardly got sold off.
Yeah, I mean,
and the market's digested a big pullback in a lot of the momentum names, like a big ass pullback. From Roku to Zoom to Apple's gone sideways forever. So the money's staying in the market. Remember when we talked about how like the 5 companies, the FANG companies, were like 30% of the index? Well, those 5 companies have basically gone nowhere, and the S&P is 4,000.
Yeah.
So, you say not good breadth. It's just not the breadth that we're used to.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, there are definitely a good number of long setups, and I don't want to be short at this point.
Yeah, and that's what you're saying. Like, and that's part of our job is like, this is not a great market to be short unless you select. And remember, 2002 to 2007 was carried by the home builders, right? Well, tech. So we just have this kind of switch. Even myself, I'm guilty of saying I'll never, own anything other than a software company. But, I'm wrong. Like, there's been a lot of money made in boring, kind of value stocks, including the home builders. So never say never. It's important to kind of see
the market is cyclical. I mean, you've seen what was going on with the boring industrial metal stocks like steel and aluminum and copper. They've been on fire. They've been the real momentum stocks for the past 6 months or so.
Yeah. So what I was saying, the worst 25 stocks of last year are performing great. I think Charlie had that in the best.
Energy, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, congrats to those that have kind of been able to like move their money around and to kind of catch this trend. I'm going to stick with growth and with software, but we can see it's marking time. Nothing grows straight line. And to be honest, the sideways action not the end of the world, right? Build a base.
Yeah, I mean, it might take a while and frustrate a lot of people if they're not patient, but it's, I,
Give me a weekly on that, Ivan. Yeah, still an incredible run. It's actually building a nice base here
yeah, it is.
and surviving that kind of shoot up in interest rate. So I still feel pretty good about software. I feel really good. I think crypto's kind of been the VIG for people that need their, technology joy. You've got to be creative. You got to open accounts at Binance or Kraken or FTX, and you've
Yeah.
got to understand how to use the wallets. And I think that's part of the advantage, if you're willing to do a little bit of the work. All right, my dog is saying let's call it. Have a great week, everybody.